The church is brought to you by Onnit.com for the best supplements, period. Go to Onnit.com right now and press in.
Church.
And get 10% off. The church is also brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. You could cook meals in 30 minutes or less. This week's menus are warm smoked trout, spiced zucchini enchiladas, elote-style vegetable tostadas with summer squash, and the list is endless. You understand me? Do me a favor right now. Go to blueapron.com/Joey, and you're going to get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Joey. I'm going to get you your first 3 meals for free with free shipping. The podcast is also brought to you by Lyft. Let me explain something to you. When you drive for the right ride-sharing app, every trip can feel like a walk in the park. With Lyft, you can pick your own hours and work when you want. Lyft can make driving the best job in the world. So do me a favor, join the #1 ride-sharing company that believes in treating its people right. Go to lyft.com/Joey today, and we'll get you a $500 new driver bonus. That's lyft.com/Joey today, and limited time terms apply. But I'll get you a $500 new bonus ride today. Kick this mule, Lee. Oh shit. It's Memorial Day, bitches. And Uncle Joey and his little Jewish cousin showed up. Ain't that a bitch? We showed up with reefer, barbecue, fucking everything. And here we are. Out of respect for Greg Allman. As good as it gets in my fucking world. Dirty, dangerous, balls. That's what the church is all about, bitches. Here we go. Kick it, Lee. I want the speakers to light themselves on fire, Lee. Two drummers, 2 guitarists that were savages, and this fucking smooth motherfucker. Here we go. Stop it. Kick that fucking mule. Happy Monday, bitches. Uncle Joey here. We showed up because you're going to need us the most on a fucking Monday. Everybody else is grilling and doing what the fuck they're doing. We showed up to have a little party here. R.I.P. Greg Allman. You know what, man? It's crazy because you don't even finish mourning one guy and somebody else fucking dies on you. It's been like that for the last fucking year. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still in the heat over fucking Prince, and this guy dies, and Mary Tyler Moore dies. And this is your childhood. These are the people, you know, when I came from Cuba, I watched Mary Tyler Moore every fucking day on TV. So when she died a couple of weeks ago, did I shed a tear? I mean, I didn't send flowers or anything, but I was kind of upset because you fucking know him. Well, at least you think you know him. You know, you've been watching him. Chris Cornell killed me last week, guys. I can't even tell you. The first, like, couple days later when I put his music on in my office, and I'm doing shit, and I'm like, Jesus, you know, this is amazing. This guy's gone. And now Greg Allman, I mean, he was 69, you know. I'm not sure if he was touring. I know he was in an old folks home or something, but these are the guys that fucking, you know, especially this guy. He let me know I was all right. You know, when I listen to the Allman Brothers, I feel like stabbing somebody. I feel like I'm fucking dangerous myself. But anyway, I'm great to be here. Lee Syatt, what's happening?
I had a great weekend. I went to a minor league baseball game. You made fun of me for. I did something weird today. I went swimming. I took swimming classes as a kid, and I know I physically know how to swim, but I could only do like one length at a time, and I was out of breath. I ended up doing 5 total, but it took me like 30 minutes. I'd take breaks, and my legs almost collapsed in the pool. I've never been that sore immediately during a workout.
You know, with swimming, it's all form, and that's what people don't realize. With everything, when you really come to think about it, it's so much form. But swimming, like powerlifting, it's all a form where you're gonna hurt yourself. I always tell people, if you get into powerlifting or kettlebells, do it the first time with somebody who really knows them and could watch you, so you don't hurt yourself. Because once you hurt yourself with those, with swimming, I did the same thing. I was gonna get locked up. I wanted to be in the best shape I could be in.
Right.
And I went to a fucking swimming class, and I thought I knew what I knew, and I didn't know dick. And it took her like 6 weeks to reteach me how your legs have to be straight, your hips have to be up a little bit because your legs have to be on top of the wall. These are all things that require strength. And you have to develop that strength over time. So it's not going to happen in one day.
I have the same weakness on the front. My left doesn't barely goes up. My right goes up like a champ, but my left is like a little...
You have to get a kickboard, a paddle board, and hold on to it.
Okay.
And just do 20 minutes of kicking. With
I was
your legs
thinking about
straight.
that, just
That's
in the
it.
lane, up and down the lane.
That's it. That's what they're going to give you in that class for the first 2 weeks. They're just going to kick for 20, and then put the fucking buoy between your legs and pull, and pull, and pull, and pull, and do all this shit and work on the mechanics. Because the mechanics of the swim, when you raise your right hand, it's not that you raise your head and toughen your neck muscles.
Okay.
That's not what they want you to do. They want you to stay loose in the water. Okay, so as you're swimming, boom, the left goes over, but when the right goes over, you turn with the right, not pick up, but turn with the right, and then exhale as you go in. You have 2 exhales, and then pull up again, and that's all mechanics that you have to work.
It's
So you have to work your upper body,
right,
and then you have to work your lower body, and then put them together.
And the breathing.
And the breathing.
And like that was one of your main reasons for starting jiu-jitsu, and I'm just realizing now, with every workout that I've ever done, breathing has always been an issue.
Breathing controls everything. Dr. Belief spoke about it. Boss Rutan speaks about it. Alberto Crane speaks about it. Higa Machado speaks about it. The other, the Gracie speaks about it with the kind of yoga with the drum that the Santa Claus looking motherfucker teaches. The flame of death, the breath of death, and all that stuff. They all talk about how breathing controls everything. Because when you get scared right away, your breathing goes up. And you can't control your breathing. If you control your breathing, you control everything. And that's what I wanted to force myself to do when I walked in those doors. Well, I found out I had the deficiency, and it really bothered me. So I wanted to work on that. How to get the most out of each breath. When I do the drill classes over there,
right,
I usually work on my breathing. Like each movement, I think about it. I don't just drill. I move to how I want to breathe. So I practice it.
Is there like a breathing technique? Like when you move a limb, do you breathe a certain way?
You breathe, you hip escape, a certain thing. So I always work on my breathing to get the most out of my breathing so my body gets used to it. But breathing is everything. And then with swimming, your body has to be non-muscular. Your body has to be soft. Because the harder your body is, the harder it is going to be to breathe, like anything else. So if your shoulders are tight, it's going to be hard to breathe. So your body has to really be like spaghetti. If you look at the good swimmers, sit there and look at the good swimmers that go back and forth, they're not even breathing heavy. Because their muscles are very relaxed. You don't think they're doing anything, but they're actually pulling. Their technique is so good. When you do a breaststroke, like this one here, when your hand goes down, it goes down like a missile.
Okay.
Your hand's just not going down. Your hand's going in like a missile, and you're pulling that water. So when you're going down, look how your water goes. Look how your hand goes.
Yeah, and I'm sure I'm not doing that.
You're pushing. So all these little things, but that all comes from practice.
Right.
You can't just watch that on TV and jump in the fucking water, and then they teach you the mechanics of it. And then you'll see how your oxygen doubles in the pool. Once you get over that hurdle, you'll go, holy shit, my cardio. No. You just cleaned up all the fat off the fucking steak. You just took all the fat of movement. You were wasting movement. That's all swimming is.
And using, I guess, your power so you don't have to do as many strokes?
No,
is that it?
You're breathing. Yeah. So you're cupping your hand a certain way. So when your hand goes into the water, it's actually going through the water, and as you're going, you're pulling. So all those movements are working together. At the same time, your feet are kicking. your feet are kicking the whole time. This is why swimming is 2 parts. This is why they'll break it down into 2 parts for you. They'll break it down to the lower part, where you just go in there and pull. Just pull for fucking 20 minutes. For the first week, if they know anything about anything, they'll just have you hold on to the wall and kick.
For a whole week?
For a whole fucking week.
Oh
Just
my
so you
goodness.
learn how to float. Your body will automatically teach itself how to float above, so your hips will be a certain way, so you'll kick naturally. Because that's going to be the clinker. You'll see that all of a sudden your ass, for you to kick naturally how they want you to kick, your knees have to be slightly bent. Just slightly. But the whole time you're kicking. And it's slightly bent. You're not splashing. You're kicking. Big difference. You're not going shh.
Right.
A lot of people do the shh.
Oh, yeah, there are people in
But
the
they've been
pool.
doing it for 20 fucking years.
Okay.
That's their style. You know, you're just moving through the water. When you see a shark move, one of those things move, they're not moving with all this water against water. They're moving with the water, and that's what you become. You become like you're moving with the water.
Are they? Yeah, exactly. Especially since I'm so big, it's hard to move that much. And all I kept thinking about was how amazing, like when you hear about like the Diaz brothers who do triathlons where they have to run, bike, and swim.
It's tremendous.
I can't even.
It's tremendous. Before I got locked up, let me tell you something. When I got sentenced, they asked to see if I could. They asked to see if I could get a continuance and if I could stay out a few days. And the main thing I was going to do was go apologize to that swim teacher, because I just stopped going to a class the day I got sentenced. I went to that class for about 9 months before I got sentenced.
Wow.
And I went to that class in the winter. Like, I joined that class like in August, and I stuck it out all through the fucking winter. When it snowed, I would still go.
How many days a week were you swimming?
3.
Wow.
Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then that summer, I got sentenced August 15th, but that July, I did my first biathlete event,
No way.
where I had to ride a bicycle for 2 miles, which is nothing,
Right.
and had to swim for a mile. And I can't lie to you, I didn't finish the mile swim.
I don't even.
Like,
I can't even
it was
imagine.
my first one, so I wasn't really prepared for it. I didn't know I didn't know the nutrition part of it. There's the nutrition part of it, and I got knots in my stomach, and that's it, you know. But it was interesting. I didn't finish it, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I can't. I don't even know. Like I could barely do a length. I don't even know what a mile
But that
is.
took 9 months to accomplish. I was always riding my bike. My ex-wife had what do you call those big bikes with the tires? A beachcomber.
Mountain bike? Oh, okay. Yeah.
A beachcomber. I always had a beachcomber for some reason, and I always rode it to Hertz and back. They really had a bike trail that you had to obey, and it was off the car lane. So I didn't mind riding my bicycle to Hertz and back there, because it was not on the street.
And you'd ride it even in the snow?
Oh, on the snow they picked me up.
Oh, okay.
They picked me up.
Jesus. That's yeah, so I'm just having fun doing it. I'm just trying to do different things.
Well, we're talking about, you know, how it took me 50 fucking years to learn this, but everybody's body's different, and everything works differently for everybody. Yoga might not work for you, but it works for me. Pilates might work for you. You know, that's what's great about this. That's why I love Groupon. Because if you're interested in something, you could always just go to Groupon for $30. You spend $30 on beers.
Easily, yeah.
You know, what's $30 on? You want to try it. Try the fucking place. If it doesn't work for you, you move the fuck on.
What have you tried? Have you tried? Look, I know you did some jujitsus on there.
From Groupon, I did a couple of jiu-jitsus. I went to a cupping thing when Dr. Amy was out of the country. I took a cupping from there. No needles, just cupping.
What does that do? I've seen that around.
Cupping is good for your blood. Like, it moves your blood, your circulation.
Yeah, I keep seeing everyone doing that, the tape.
And then I did something else. Oh, I got my toenail burnt from whatever. Where you get the fucking, you get the blowtorch to kill the fungus in your nail. Up in Sherman Oaks, I got it through there for Christmas. I showed my wife, and she got it for me. I get a lot of stuff from Groupon. A lot of stuff. You know, I can't remember. I got that one. The first time I went to Hegan, I got it from Groupon. It was like 10 sessions for $30. He wants like $250 a class.
Right. Oh yeah.
So I got a Groupon. I don't give a fuck. I have no shame.
No, fuck no.
No, that's what it's for people to try your thing. You put it on there. And let me tell you something. They have restaurants on there. They got a ton of stuff on there. Tons. You could go on Groupon for fucking hours if you want to.
There's actually a thing. It's funny that you said restaurants. This thing like some girls like, oh, I don't like it when I won't go on a date with a guy if he brings like a Groupon to a restaurant. I can't imagine.
I would never take a date to a Groupon anyway. I'm talking about if you and me are gonna go eat something. I'll go on Groupon and go, what the fuck? You ever been there, Lee? No. Me neither. All my friends say it's good, but it's expensive, and they got a Groupon if you go Tuesday and Thursday between 6 and 8. That means they're dead. That means they want you in there.
Right, but you wouldn't do it for a date? Why not?
No, because you don't want to, you want to look like you're fucking, you're not a cheap fuck. There's little things that people do that make you look like a cheap fuck that'll drive a woman crazy. A woman wants security, and here you want to play it cheap with her security in the beginning. There's no cheapness in the security in the beginning. In the beginning, if the tab is $20, you're leaving a $10 tip because you're trying to impress this woman. Or even a $5 tip. You know, it shows that you care. It shows that you're cool with women.
Oh, I'm a big tipper, but like when I was broke, yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't see a problem with it.
You don't want to take a fucking Groupon on your first fucking date or your first 2 dates.
Yeah, maybe not the first date, I guess.
Unless you say it at the table. You know what, man? And then crack a joke. Like, well, I've been single for so long, I've been eating Groupon dinners. And she's like, oh my God, so have I. Maybe we should get a Groupon for 2. Yes, let's do it and beat the system. Okay. Now you found yourself a half a mutt, just like you, that's going to go out and torment fucking waiters. Because even if you get a Groupon at a restaurant,
right,
I always leave the tip to make up the difference.
Oh, and like what it would have cost?
Yeah, like you try to leave the tip to make up the difference.
Yeah, that's why I always feel bad for like Denny's waiters. Because at most the tip is going to be $4 or $5. So I have no idea how they make money.
Denny's? Let me tell you something. Those waiters at Denny's over here up the corner.
Right.
How many times have you been in that Denny's?
20 times.
Okay, and one thing you're going to notice is it's all the same waiters.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years that you've been going in there. To be honest with you, 6 of those waiters have been there longer than 10 years. You know why, Lee? They make money there. They make a ton of money over there.
You think so?
I know so. My friend Jesse works over there. He's been there for years. He goes to more Laker games. In one season that you and I have been here, how do you think he does on a waiter's salary? They get paid at Denny's. They get tips, plus it's high fucking volume.
I guess.
It's high volume.
It's a lot of work.
A lot of work, but they make bank over there. The one Spanish girl with all the teeth, she's been there 20 years. The chubby Japanese girl that's very sweet, she's been there for 20 years. Jesse's been there for like 11. It's a fucking really weird thing. They went there, they put their fucking sunglasses on, their eye shades, and they blocked out all the bullshit. And they outlasted all the fucking people who went through there. You know, I went to buy a car last week, and I went to Subaru. And I brought my car up there, and I traded it in the lease, and I got the new CrossFit, whatever the fuck it's called. I got a little back now to put my daughter's toys back there. I can put my jiu-jitsu bag in there and it doesn't leak. I don't have to put it in the back seat and it smells smelly or whatever. But while I was at the Subaru place, fuck, I forgot what I was going to tell you.
Just loyalty, I think. Customer loyalty, like a relationship.
Oh, what the fuck are we talking about here? I went over to the Subaru place, and it's my 6th car that I've gotten from them. So it's a real fucking fast deal. Like, it's really fast. But when I was sitting there, Jesus Christ, I gotta stop smoking pot with you.
I'm a bad influence, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. I hate this shit when your mind, and the thought's right there, and all of a sudden you look up and the thought just fucking disappears. You know what I'm saying?
I deal with it 3 times a day with this stuff. Like it just goes immediately with weed. It's amazing how it can be there for 8 minutes, and then as soon as you want to say it, it's gone.
The other night I was thinking of a joke in the middle of the night. I went to write it. I fucking forgot. From my bedroom to the office, I forgot the fucking joke. I sat in the hallway for 10 minutes in shock. I remember all the dumb shit in my life. But I can't remember a good joke I read. And I wrote it, took the mask off, ushered it to myself 3 fucking times. Walked into the fucking living room, saw my sneakers there, and I go, damn, I gotta move these things because I don't want the baby to fall on them.
Oh, no.
By the time I got to the fucking office, I forgot the goddamn joke. Motherfucker is right.
Do you have to keep a pad in your bedroom now or something?
Well, I got no lights in there, so I can't turn the fucking light on and wake my wife up and tell her, hold on 1 second. I just thought of a fucking stupid joke or some shit like that because she wouldn't...
Wouldn't fly?
No, she wouldn't fucking fly.
That makes sense. So anyways, the Subaru.
Huh?
Subaru.
I like it. It's a great car. I'm happy I got it. I forgot what the fuck the train of thought was altogether.
Okay.
I was thinking about when I started selling cars, like the girl who gave me the car and shit like that. There's times I'm like, fuck comedy, fuck the podcast. I'm going to quit all this shit and get a job selling Subarus. And I'm like, I better rethink that shit. They sell cars up there, but it's not what it used to. People come in there, they know the prices, they know the homework. The consumer is fucking educated than ever now with the internet. If the people are smart, they go on the internet and get the payments they want with the down payment. I mean, it's a complete different game. So you have to sell volume also. The only thing that you make money with is the used cars, because a used car is what you'll pay for it. That's pretty much the basic with the used car.
Oh, okay.
It's what I'll make you pay for it. That's why with used cars, there's no addendum. There's always $4,000 in that price when we tag. If you really think about it, you could really rock with a used car. But if a dealer is good, they'll take a used car, they'll buy it over book because it's clean, then they'll put $500 into the car to make it look brand new. So they've got some money in the fucking car sometimes. So you really never know.
I was so shocked just as someone buying a car that there's really not like a price difference between used and new now. It just depends on what level you want to go.
I've been on some lots where their used cars were more expensive than the new car.
How does that happen?
Because they have to put a profit on it, and the people don't even look, but they'll say to you, you know what, it's 17. No, let's say there's a new Nissan something for $15,999 sticker. I've been to used car lots where that same car a year earlier, it's like the model from the year before that was a demo.
Right.
And now they're asking $1,000 more than that car.
Fuck.
Because that's how they trick you. They say to you, see, we had to pay more for this one, blah, 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 blah. Then they'll get you to get. Can you imagine if somebody comes in and pays $15,999 for that car the year before? Do you follow me? So there's a lot of profit in that car. They stole that car. It's a demo. It's got miles on it and the whole goddamn thing.
Oh, okay. So is it a scam really? 'Cause
it's not a scam. It's just a psychological move.
I went to like a scummy used car dealer. My first car. It was like an abandoned lot with a trailer in it. And my car, it was terrible. It was a $2,000 car.
Oh, yeah, buy here, pay here.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to show up every Friday and make a payment and shit, and hopefully they won't take your car back.
No, I just paid it all in cash. Oh,
you
my
know
God.
what, man? Salesmen at those car lots make a lot of money. I used to make a lot of money. I worked at one of those. I got fired after 3 weeks. But those 3 weeks I was there, I made like fucking $4,000 or something.
Jesus. Have you seen that video? I don't know where it is. It's this black guy who's running a car lot, but it's like all beaters cars. He's like, I don't want to hear about the radiator in 3 weeks. I don't care about this. Like it's just you're buying.
Just listen, you're buying a car. Some people want a car for $800. What do you think $800 gets you in a car? Gets you fucking 2 seats, a broken glass, and a headlight with fucking tape on it. But that's what you could afford, and that's what you need. You just need a car to get you back and forth. When I first started comedy on the triple runs, I got myself a Datsun B210 with air conditioning and AM/FM cassette. What? I don't need power windows. I don't need none of that shit. I just need 4 tires and 4 brakes.
Isn't that the one that the body split in half, though?
A couple times. A couple things happened to that car.
I guess that's what happens. How much fun did you have driving all over the country? I mean, I know you were working, and I know you were probably broke, but It just seems like so much fun just to get to like drive around the country.
We talked about this on the show a few weeks ago. I'm very fortunate that I got to know every nook and cranny. You have no idea when you drive 70% of it. Like, you figure...
You really get to see the country.
You get to see different people. You get to eat different fucking foods. Some that are just god-awful, and some that are just tremendous for dirt cheap. You get to meet personalities, you know, in different places. I've been to army bases. I think it was fantastic. Do I remember 90% of the people I met? No. There's times I think of certain people that I met, and I go, I wonder where the fuck they are now, you know? But those from 94 to, 98, that was an adventure comedy. I look at it now when I make outlines to write the book and shit, and I'm like, I'm pretty fucking weird how I stuck it out those years.
You don't think most comics would stick being on the road for 4 straight years out?
It wasn't that I was on the road. It had nothing to do with the road. It was what I was doing while I was on the road, what I was going through, the divorce, being homeless, being in prison. I was in jail, not prison. I was in county jail in Seattle for a month. That pissed off a few people. That made a few people stop hanging out with me. A few people stopped booking me as a comedian. Most people would have given up. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. It's just a bump in the road. I knew other comics that had their problems. I knew a lot of other comics that had problems also. And that made me feel like I was all right. Like I wasn't, at that time, it wasn't like today. There's no comics who have problems. There's nobody who's got an alcoholism problem. There's nobody you read about in the paper anymore that gets arrested. There's nothing like that. Artie Lang got arrested a few weeks ago, but before that he had been fined for years. I'm talking about, when I got into comedy, there was 5 guys on the road that every week you wouldn't know if they were going to show up or not.
Really? And they still get booked?
Yeah, they were selling tickets, but they were drunks or druggies or both. You didn't know if these guys, you knew if they were going to show up Thursday. But if they go out Thursday night and get fucked up, you didn't know if there was going to be a show on Friday. There was 5 or 6 of those good fucking guys. And I would feature for some of them. And I would be on that party train with them. You know what I'm saying? I knew what they were doing, and they knew what I was doing.
Did you have, someone who put you through training, or were you already... Your tolerance... I don't know. Was your tolerance already through the roof? Like, when you started, really touring with comedy, did someone... Was there one comic who would do more coke with you, or I don't know?
If you sit down, and I'm telling you people this just so you know, and so you know, Lee, there's not a lot of people that did coke with me those days. Because I didn't like doing it out.
By that time, you were already doing it at home?
I was going home. I'd go home. I'd do 2 bumps, maybe a bump if you were driving, and I'd keep it cool till I got home. I got home. I got high with Tom Rhodes a few times in Houston till late in the middle of the night. I got high at Coaching Horses a couple nights with Josh Wolf. Josh Wolf and I, Josh Wolf saw me at my worst situations. He saw me a couple times at 6 in the morning and shit like that. But headliners, I would get it with them, do a bump with them, and then they would go their way and I would go mine.
Fuck. Was that lonely, or you just preferred it?
No, that's how I preferred it. I didn't want to go out around 10 people anyway, because I couldn't take the music, doing the coke, talking to people, listening. You got cottonmouth. People want to ask you questions. People want to get political. There was a phase with that. And there was something, even Houston. I used to go to Houston, Texas, and just go crazy for 2 weeks. If I was going to die, I would have died in Houston. I would have died in Beaumont. I would have died in Miami. I would have died in Austin. There was a lot of cities I went to purposely with the intent to get high.
Not even on the comedy of secondary?
Here's the craziest thing of all. Till the age of maybe 32 or 33, when I started comedy, something came out this week that was really weird. That I had a feeling about. Not that I'm not going to sit here and tell you I had a feeling about, but if I heard it, it wouldn't have shocked me. Well, Wednesday morning I woke up and they said that TMZ reported that Chris Cornell had needle marks on his arm. His wife said he was slurring. He went up to Detroit. They got that heroin up there that's killing motherfuckers. Maybe he was on the road for a few days. Remember, you have to get high like 3 days in a row on heroin to get hooked.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like a couple days or something like that. I don't know what the real number is, and maybe he had hit that number or he had hit a few days in a row, and now, you never know. I don't know. But I was thinking about my behavior at the time that I went to prison and for 2 or 3 years after I got out of prison. And it was years even after that. And it was that every time things got good, I put a roadblock upon myself and fucked them up. Like every time I was on the road to something good, I would fuck myself up. It's like it's a continuing inner thing that people have that they don't even know they're doing. They don't even know they're doing. They just do something to fuck it up. And once somebody gives you an opportunity, for 3 weeks you're good, and then 1 week you snap and you fuck it up, you crash the car, you go to jail,
Heroin seems like the one that just it doesn't matter. Again, I was just thinking of Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like that, it just these people I don't know. You don't assume that the people, the stars of movies and the biggest singer ever or one of them is gonna be on heroin. It just doesn't seem. I don't know. Because I think what you're saying, how when you were growing up, musicians were on heroin. I don't know as many are today. I don't think.
There's a lot of explanations. There's people who are just misguided, and then there's people who really have a pain. And listen, nobody more than me understands that pain. But you know what? To chase that pain your whole life. Like I was fucking hooked on coke, man. I had a fucking bad problem. And why I'm saying this is because my mind was hooked.
Okay.
And for people who listen to the podcast and know what I'm talking about, you understand when your mind is hooked. When 65% of your thought process is about getting high, or who you're going to get high with, or what broad you're going to take home and eat her ass when you got coke rocks. And it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. But that's what I mean. Was I doing it in the daytime? No. Was I doing it before comedy shows? No. But at night, I was 5 nights a week. I didn't know how much I was going to do. It was always a different number. Some nights I'd do a gram and go to bed. But I never really had control of it. I wanted to fucking stop. I stopped. I don't know how. There's 1,000 fucking explanations. But right now, I'm going to be sober from cocaine 10 years. And look at all the good things that have happened in 10 years. If it wasn't for mercy, I think in like 3 years I would go on the road one night, meet some chick and do a couple lines and fucking end up fucking jacked up.
No, you think
so?
So?
Yeah, I know for a fact because it's human nature. It's human nature. Not that I've ever thought I have this animal controlled. I don't even think about it that way. When I gave up cocaine, I gave up cocaine. I gave up cocaine. I gave up everything that came with it. I gave it up. There's no itching for it. There's no what would it be like if I went to a bar and got a package. I just don't have that thought. There's only one person who can make me relapse, and that's Kate Quigley. And even then, I'd think twice. If Kate Quigley put a coke rock in her asshole, I'd have to fucking play dice.
You'd have to call your sponsor?
I'd have to roll the dice one time. No. It's just weird that I don't even think that way. But there's people. So everything was going great for Chris Cornell. Everything was going great. A family, a great music career. His artistry level was at an all-time fucking high. I used to, I saw this documentary one time about Sam Kinison. The explanation they had was that you're so high when you get off stage that you still want that high. That's why you continue to fucking do drugs. you know. With Philip Seymour Hoffman and all those guys, listen, you live right there in the East Village, wherever the fuck you live in New York, and that shit surrounds that area. You know, I when Luis Gomez was here the other night, I spoke about heroin, and he looked at me in shock. As a child, I was always very scared of heroin. I grew up with a personal connection to hate fucking heroin for some reason or another. So, to me, it was something that you shot in your body that I really wanted nothing to do with. And
Can't even imagine the needle part of it.
And then over the fucking years, you know, once I snorted THC crystal, aka angel dust, I broke my moral code that I had with myself. It was okay to do acid. It was okay to do mescaline. It was okay to smoke pot. It was okay to drink. But I wasn't going to put nothing up my nose. Once I put THC crystal up my nose when I was 15 years old, I broke my spirit. Like that broke that spirit. Even though I hated cocaine, cocaine was going to follow. My mother died maybe a week or two after I tried cocaine. The funny thing is, when I was sick yesterday, I was forced to watch TV.
Okay.
And I realized how bad different TV was, but I watched the last 24 hours of Whitney Houston's daughter. You know, the autopsy. And I was thinking about what they were saying. And listen, when your mother is the biggest thing in the world to you, which mothers always are, never mind her being Whitney Houston and taking you around the world, and that sibling dies, you have a huge hole in your soul for years. And there's a little time period deep in your psyche that you wish you were dead. The biggest thing in your life is dead. How do I know? From personal experience. You know, when I was 17, I went to a party, and I ate some Quaaludes and drank and snorted some coke, and I really fucking went deep. The people woke me up, and they couldn't. They kept thinking they were going to call the ambulance, you know. And I always think of that specific night, how I woke up from that night. I go, maybe I was telling myself a message, because at that time in my life, I was living my life. I was enjoying myself around my friends. But I was fucking hurting, man. I was fucking hurting.
Same thing with Chris Cornell. It's always, the outside looks great.
I was hurting. I mean, I was dying inside. By that time, I was going home at night, and before I would go to where I was staying, I would walk up to my old house and just look at the windows and see if maybe she went home and she didn't call me. You know, it was just a psychological fucking fight that I was doing. Nobody understands unless you've been through this, you know. So I was looking at this fucking Whitney Houston's daughter, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I was there. You know, I had that hole in my heart. I'm just very lucky that, you know, I didn't. But, you know, one of the best times in my life was, one of the best and worst times in my life was after my mother died.
The best?
Well, I got to really experience people. I was learning something that most people don't learn till they're way out of high school and maybe in college. And when my mother died, I started experiencing people, you know, at the lowest common denominator. Like, these were people that were my friends, and now they've become my brothers. And I was having a great time hanging out with Didi Quintero at that time. At that time, you know, it started at school, and we walked home together, or he went to wrestling practice, and I went home and hung out and did what I did and put money together to get a package that night, and I'd team up with him about 7:30, and we'd fucking go out and do something mischievous every night. We always, 3-4 nights a week, me and him made money.
At 15?
At 15, and he was maybe 14. When I was 16, maybe he was 14.
Did you both have shifts at the local grocery store?
No. Nobody had a job here either. We would do whatever we could. We would help his brother with a fucking stealing tires. We would, you know, we did something. We looked out for the devil. you know, we would go do something with Mike Denny, and we'd look out down by the ships. Me and him always did fucking something.
You were a lookout duo? Like, you would be like a team?
We
like,
were a team, and he didn't give a fuck. He did anything to Didi.
Oh.
We were robbing Freaky Freddy. We were robbing Jay Horan's son. of fucking cans of tomato paste and selling them for the small nickel, like $20 for the case. It was 80, brand new. I mean, but listen, 5 cases is $100 fucking bucks. That was a gram of coke and fucking a 6-pack in those days. Do you understand, man? We could do that every day at that age.
So you could go to one of your neighbor's houses and knock on the door and be like, "Hey, Mrs. So-and-so, we have tomato paste."
No. Jay Harn's son was down the corner from Herman, the spick store. All right. Herman and his wife ran the bodega. He used to make Cuban steak sandwiches out of there all day long on a grill in 1975. But in 1979, I would go to Jay Harn's son, and I had worked at Jay Harn's son. I worked at Jay Harn's son for like 6 months. Jay Harn's son was a warehouse, and half of it was frozen. And then I worked at White Rose for a while. White Rose, it was all frozen.
Frozen food?
Frozen food.
How much ice cream did you steal?
None.
Damn.
Seafood, bitch.
Oh, okay.
Why take the ice cream when you got the lobster tails in the back? See, the amateur Jew goes for the fucking amateur shit. Why take pennies when you could take dollars?
Fair enough. I didn't know there was seafood.
There was 2 of them that I was aware of. There was Jay Harn's son, which was in North Bergen, New Jersey, and that was I started there my sophomore year. I didn't play football. I was going to play basketball, and there was an opening there, and they paid $6.50 an hour, and it was just picking orders and then loading them on a truck. It was me, Louis the Nigger, Dave Ruiz, Chucky McBreen. It was our whole McKinley. We all went there after school, and they signed all of us. Like my whole little crew from McKinley, because we all lived close to there. And I'll never forget that I had
a crew of 15-year-olds loading trucks.
Oh, it was a bunch of us with 2, and they had 2 brothers, Gary and something else. And it was me, John Bender, a bunch of us worked at Gary Harn's son. And I'll never forget that one afternoon I went there stoned. And I had what's these things when you push them? A hand cart.
Yeah, a hand cart.
A hand cart. And what you do is you go up to the boxes and you pull the boxes out, and then you pull the boxes over and put the hand cart in.
Right.
And you push it to the trucks. And then there'd be somebody right there in the truck, and they'd hold on to the thing while you pull the hand cart.
Fair enough, yeah. So you could get it out with the boxes.
So you could get out with the boxes. So I would load the truck. So they go get, 10 cases of tomato paste, or 10 cases of whatever. It was all restaurant supplies, but in metal things, like these things. There was 4 in a case.
Okay.
So do you understand me? They would have all this in cases, and then they would have the freezer thing where you needed clearance to go in there. That's where your fried shrimp were. That's where all those little foods you like were.
Oh, the dumplings.
The dumplings, all that type of shit were in there. So one day, we used to work 4 to 9.
That's it?
5 hours. When you're in fucking high school.
Yeah, I guess when you're lifting stuff too, it's going to be hard work.
So fucking $30 times 5. That's $150 a fucking week. That's $600 a month. You were living like a doctor in high school off of that money. I lasted a couple days. That's when I was spitting blood and they put me in the hospital. But let me get to my fucking story here. I'm taking the cart in. I got the 4 cases of whatever that's heavy. I'm pushing it to the truck. Boom! I hit the lump. I get on the truck. The guy comes over. In this case, it's Louis Hernandez, a.k.a. Louis the Nigger. He comes over. I put the cart down, and we can't get the thing out. I'll never forget this. Louis had an afro. So Louis went to pull the cart, and he had his head in the thing, and the cases fell back. And the cart and his head got stuck. But here's the beauty. When I got Louis out of there, you could see the imprint in his afro from where the metal had gone through all the way. So his afro was from here, from his ear, to maybe on top of his ear. And then it was like 3 inches. It was fucking classic. You couldn't write this. He looked at me and said, "What happened? The thing just locked." I thought he was dead.
Jesus.
He lived. I laughed, because you know me, I'm a sick fuck.
It's amazing that this place ever recovered from having you guys work there.
All those guys worked there for years. I went into the hospital, and then when I got back, my job was filled. So I got pissed off, but I knew that they did something weird. They would stock the morning people. If they ran out of work, they would stock the dock with early orders. So when the truck pulled up, all they had to do was roll those in.
Got it.
They already had the paperwork on a board right next to the truck. So I knew this. So I knew that if you went there at 1:32,
Oh my God.
there was always cases on the thing. Me and Dee Dee used to cause havoc in that neighborhood. Do you understand me? We knew all the ins and outs to all the places.
Did you ever steal like an entire restaurant's order for the day? Like, how much did he take?
I don't know, Lee. I don't know. In those days, it was like fresh produce and shit. We would clip 2-3 boxes and we would run them right up the corner to the Spick store. He would give us an envelope. We'd throw in 2 steak sandwiches and 2 sodas. And that was it. And we took that money and we ran. That was our own private neighborhood there. There was a couple of drug dealers we nailed. There was an appliance store that we had clipped one time because they left their fucking warehouse shit in the back.
How dare they?
All those little businesses were always in danger around there.
15 years old. You were like a duo of death.
There was a guy that would give us money to bring him sawdust every week
What?
because he had a transmission shop. So he would give us $50 a week. Not only did we steal, but we hustled too.
Where do you steal sawdust from?
The lumber yard. We go to the lumber yard and just tell them we want fucking sawdust. Come on, Lee, you gotta be fucking creative here. But that's what me and him did. Him and I don't know how we did it. Till this day. No car. Everything was done on foot. Everything was done on foot.
How?
We were kids. Don't even fucking ask me. But the classic story was, it was the summer of 80. It was the summer of 1980. It's fucking hotter than hell. Me and Dee Dee are hanging out. And you know what? By the summer of 80, the realization that my mother was dead, it was now a realization. It was like 9 or 10 months. And every night the sadness would come over me a little bit more every night, you know, like just in a weird way. And one of the stories I told on Ari, which turned out to be a funny story and some people got pissed off at me, but it was a very true story, was that, you know, like me and Dee Dee were this team that we hustled so much. And in those days we weren't really like house burglars at all. We never would even dream of robbing somebody's house. But if there was a drug guy, we would rob their house or try to pull something kinky. But like I said, me and Dee Dee always had our eyes open. And one day we're walking down the fucking street, dog. Walking down the fucking street. And right there, like you can't, like we're like, what are we gonna do for cash? I don't fucking know. What do you think? I don't know. And also I'm like, what is that crate right there? And we just walked up to it. Like it could have been anybody's crate. We just walked up to it. And there was like an Ottoman in there, whatever people call that. Autobahn.
Like a chair?
No. Like a thing that you put dishes in and shit.
Oh, okay. Like an armoire or something?
Armoire, whatever the fuck it is. And there was no bottom piece for it. And me and Dee looked at it and we're like, what the fuck? This is nice. And we're like, who the fuck would buy this? What are we going to do with it? Where are we going to take this? Do we take this back to the Benders? Do we take this to your house? I mean, either way, we're fucking hoofing. It's a 3-block walk either fucking way. And I look up the fucking corner and that dude, Gunter Brown, lives there. And this was right down the block. We found this in the alleyway of Jay Horan's son, pretty much. Like that was a truck area.
And it just fell off the back of a truck?
Like, no. That was also a place where they did elevators. Like an elevator tool and die company was there or some shit. When we were growing up, we never robbed them. They had nothing to rob. We didn't know what the fuck a tool or die was. So, we found this thing, and I go, what the fuck are we going to do with this? And it was the block where the Denny's lived, and the fucking McNeil's, and the fucking Garcias, and the Jansons, and all these families lived on this block. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with this thing? And I go, Dee Dee, I got it. Let's take it to Gunter's house, because Gunter collected Beatle stuff. All right, so we fucking pick this thing up. We walk it like 50 yards. It's fucking humid. It's hot. Like that's what made me remember this, because I was sweating. I'll never forget, we went to Gunther's house. He opens the door with his fucking robe on, higher than fuck. And he's like, "What's up, guys?" And we're like, "Gunther, we know you're a Beatle fan. We hate to bother you. We know that you look for stuff all the time. We'd like to sell you this." And he's like, "Where the fuck did you guys get this?" By that time, we just took it out of the crate and just started walking with it down the street like we were moving men.
And no one was like, "Hey, where did these teenagers?"
Not one person.
Oh.
We walked it to Gunther's. We went up, and he goes, "I'll take it for sure. What are you guys looking to get?" And we're like 100. He's like 80. And we're like, "Done." Could have even been 60. We're like, "Done. We don't give a fuck. This just gets us a half a gram of coke." That's all we were looking to get. A half a gram of coke. We put the beer together. We'll get the weed together. We could do a half a gram of coke for 50 fucking bucks. The only problem was, it was the afternoon. Gunther's like, "I got something going on here. Can you come back at about 7 o'clock at night?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we'll come back." He goes, "No, not Wheel. Just one of you." He goes, "You come back." "No offense, Didi." I go, No offense. And that was it. Me and Didi hung out the rest of the day, and that night I went to Gunther's Brown's house. I went over there. He invites me in. He still has the robe on. He's drinking. First off, there's this chick, and she's fucking gotta be 60. She's all beat up on heroin, and he's telling me, if you go to the bathroom and take a shit, she loves to blow guys when you're on the toilet. That's her thing. And I'm like, no.
No, thank you.
I go,
No,
"Gee, man, I'm cool. Just let me get the cash, and let me go to Didi's." In those days, Lee, it was 1980. When somebody offered you a line of cocaine,
right,
you took it. There was no ands, its, buts about it. Everybody was such a deadbeat for cocaine in those days that anybody who did give you a line, you took it. It could be 2 in the afternoon. It could be 8 in the morning. It could be 11 o'clock at night. In 1980, when somebody offered you a bump, you took it. Because if you went to somebody and said, "You're not going to believe what happened. Steve Simone offered me a bump the other night," everybody in the room was going to go, "You fucking asshole. You had a chance to do coke." It was 1980. Nobody really knew what it was. So everybody wanted to do it, but nobody had the $100 to pay for it.
Okay.
You follow me?
So you're going to say yes.
So you say
all
yes.
All your rules go out the window.
All your rules go out the window in 1980. So I go, fuck yeah. At that time I did coke. I do a line of coke. He offers me a drink. I go, "Nah, I got to go."
How old is Gunther Brown?
At this time, Gunther's probably 33, 34.
No.
He's got a robe on. He listens to the guitar player from Black Sabbath. He's got the same mustache, the same type of devilish hair. And then he put music on. Like, I don't know what the first song was he put on. But then in the middle of all this,
Endless Love?
I don't know what the fuck he put on. He put on like he was like a Beatle fan. And then in the middle of all this, he goes, "Fuck it." And he goes, "Have you ever done heroin?" And right there, like, my heart stopped. Like, I didn't want to do heroin, but I wanted to do heroin.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, at that point in my life, I don't know. I was sad. Deep down inside, I had a job, I had money, I was having a fun time, but I missed my mother. This shit of living with people and stuff, as nice as the Benders were, it was just rough on me. So I said, "You know what, Gunther Brown? Give me a line of that shit."
Even then, you wouldn't do the needle?
No. At that point, a needle in the room, I wouldn't even stick around. At least now I stick around, I just look the other way.
It's like ranch on the table for you?
Yeah, I just turn around. In those days, a needle, I couldn't even deal with it.
Fuck, okay.
A needle, I couldn't even deal with.
So he offered you a line?
He was snorting it too.
Okay.
He was snorting it too. So that was it. I did a little. He goes, "Do one, see what you think, and then do another one." I'll never forget. He looked at me, goes, "And if you get sick, run to the bathroom." I go, "Sick?" I was like, "Lee Syatt." I go, "Why would I get sick?"
Yeah, that's like when you were saying you sold it just for a gram of coke. It made me think about, like, it was essentially a pawn shop, like a pawn shop deal. And it's sad that, like, people are so willing to give up like 60% of what it's worth, just to get just because they know that it'll get them some drugs.
No. See, on the East Coast, in certain neighborhoods, everybody knows that there's a guy in the neighborhood, and it wasn't me. I'm just saying.
Okay, gotcha.
Everybody knows that there's a guy in the neighborhood that could help you out with stuff. If you need a TV, if you need a washer, dryer, everybody in the neighborhood in the East Coast has them, from Boston all the way down to fucking Philadelphia.
Okay.
There's a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy. And what that means is that, you know what, maybe you get something 50% off in a box. You just can't send in the warranty.
Oh, no. I'm talking about, like, if you were going to go sell that washer dryer and they're like, we'll give you $50 for it and it's worth $400 or whatever it is.
No. But what you do is you already know it's $200 going in. Like, I don't know what that thing was worth. We just walked down the street and bumped into it. You know what I'm saying? I just bumped into $60, $100. If you think I'm gonna walk the thing home and then take the numbers off it and call around and get the retail price, in those days there wasn't an internet, Lee. So it wasn't that easy to look prices up and to fucking see what. So you just got what you could. There was plenty of times I went to pawn shops and things like that. Now, you know, when I was scamming, jewelry was $800 an ounce in 1980. Check it and see.
For gold?
For gold, it was $800 an ounce, $850 an ounce. What the weight for gold was in 1980. 80.
Yearly high was $850 and low is $474.
Who the fuck you think you're dealing with in 1980 when it was $850?
Oh my god! And look at this: 77, 168 was the high, and 79 it was 524. It jumped.
And in 1982, what was it?
Let's see here. In 1982, it went down a little bit to 488.
480, and then 84.
84 it went down to 4. 85 it went down to 340. But then it started going up. Oh my god! In the last one on this chart's 2015, and it's up to 1,300 an ounce. 1,300.
Yeah. Now you show up with a little fucking ring, they give you 500.
Fuck. My dad was buying. It wasn't gold. He would buy quarters, like for the silver. Like we had barrels of quarters in our basement for a little bit, because if they're made before a certain time, they have like they're made with mostly silver. So how much of your money was with gold?
Me?
Yeah.
In those days, I worked at Rendell Lumber, and there was a guy named Boji, who was a half a gangster, and his day job was to buy gold. He got their owner, Richie Werdeman, who was a crooked guy, to give him a stand in there. And he would buy gold, and I'd talk to him. And he would tell me, listen, if you're going to sell something, this is the time. So I had friends who had friends who had friends, and, you know, whenever something needed to be sold and there was no paperwork on it, I slipped it to Mr. Boji. But the most interesting thing was one time I found a fucking penny in a drawer. And I put it in my pocket, like, you know when you put change in the drawer and then you go back and take the change out, and you look through the change and there was like a weird penny. And one time I'm at Rendell Lumber and I give the penny to Mr. Boji. I go, Mr. Boji, what type of penny is this? He goes, hold on 1 second. And he gave it back to me. It was worth $480. He goes, you want it? Yeah. He gave me $480.
Jesus Christ.
Like shit like that was happening in 82. Where's Tony Bennett at? Damn it.
I thought you were looking at the sugar cubes.
That last rattle wasn't water. We just ate a few more stars out of respect for Memorial Day. It's a 10-star fucking salute here on the Church of What's Happening Now. These are the 125, so don't get excited. You know, Lee could eat 35 of these things and not blink a fucking eye, you understand me?
I'll never blink again.
It's funny, this weekend I watched, I'm telling you, man, being sick isn't fun. But I couldn't even focus on the internet. Excuse me, I couldn't focus on writing. I really couldn't focus on anything except sitting there and shaking, and then 2 minutes later I'd be fucking sweating, then I'd be shaking. But I watched Viceland one night. I watched an interesting one about sugar daddies, and it was crazy because I was breaking Becky's balls.
You're obsessed with this topic.
You know, it was just on.
Yeah.
You know, it was just on.
Oh, no, I'm judging you. I'm just,
it's hysterical.
You're very interested in it.
We were just talking about it the one night, and it made me think, because I dated a girl who went through that. And I thought about, they showed the girl having the conversation with a guy online. And by that guy talking, I remembered how creepy my ex's sugar daddy was.
Oh, you met him?
Oh yeah, we half a fist fight, but before that we used to talk on the phone, and I would say to her, "How old is this guy?" And she would say 50 something, and I go, "Doesn't this guy have kids?" No. Hasn't he been married? No. You know, what does he do? And she goes, he gets money from his family, and he just hires women. That's it. And he goes, I was one of the women that he put me through school.
What?
So I'm watching this show, and I was breaking Becky's balls one day about it. Becky doesn't have a boyfriend. She's fighting for her life. So I'm like, Becky, you're a good-looking chick. Get yourself an old guy and lick his balls once a month and get the small nickel or the small G note. Have him pay your rent and car payment. You move on your fucking way, right? I forgot how creepy it was. And I forgot the guys that do it, how creepy they are. I forgot. I fucking forgot.
What are they like? I can't, like, just that first.
So you go to some website.
Approach. Yeah, the website makes it easier now.
You sign up, and then you do like a Skype. And the guy talks to you on Skype. He makes you get up and show him your body. Now, I thought it was the illusion, and this is what they were examining on Viceland, that the illusion was that a guy calls you up and says, I'm going to pay you $5,000 a month. I'm going to come over and light your asshole on fire 4 times a month. As a matter of fact, take the pill and not have your period. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know when I'm coming over. I'm dropping over like a fucking Marine in Apocalypse Now. You don't know when the fuck I'm showing up. But no, this place makes you pay by the move. So if you go on a date with the guy and you want to fuck, it's like a flat, $600 or whatever. And the 2 girls they talked to weren't that attractive.
But they were freaks?
I don't know. I didn't really ask about their personal sexual preferences. These girls just wanted to be taken care of.
Now, what do you have anything? Do you know anything about Russian brides? I've always heard about that.
They're here. It's fucking crazy because when I first moved here, one of the guys that took care of my comedy had a Russian bride.
So they're real. Like, you can actually get a mail order bride.
Yeah. I don't know how he got his. I can't really fucking spell it out how he got his.
Okay.
I know he didn't get his through line.
Because they used to.
He met somebody.
Websites.
He sold his company and got a ton of fucking money and had a ton of money to burn. And I guess the year before he had gone to Russia, and I saw the Russian women, and he fucking went on. He went to this guy here, and the guy showed him pictures.
Oh my God.
And he paid, and they flew the girl here, and he married her, made her a citizen. And then she had big tits. Guess what she did? She divorced him and made her tits even bigger. And then about 2 years later, this went down in 97, 98,
There's
99.
no loyalty anymore.
And then I stopped working with the guy, and then I saw her in like 2004, and her tit were like past pornographic big. Like she made them so big, it was just absurd. Like when she was around you, you felt uncomfortable. And in Hollywood, you even felt more uncomfortable. And she was a good-looking woman, but nobody has that tits that big. And she showed up at the Laugh Factory with a different guy, and he had to be like fucking 70. Meanwhile, she's like 35.
That I don't mean that like.
No, and I don't know who schedules them. I don't know anything about it, so don't,
No, but that's just a whole new thing. Like I guess it's not new. Just women being able, like they live their whole lives just based off of their looks. Which I mean, I would do if I was a hot girl, but it seems like a weird way to live your life. Like always be getting stuff from people.
Hey, listen, we're the ones that give them the stuff.
Right, absolutely.
We're the ones that give them the stuff. So.
But I know I feel weird sometimes when people try to give me things. I wonder if they have that at all, or if it's just so ingrained in them.
No, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. When people give you stuff sometimes, you don't know how to accept it. I think Whitney Cummings had a whole story on that, or a whole blog on that. Like, she felt really insecure about it. I think as a woman, I mean, I'm not a woman. I'm not a fucking woman, so I don't know where to even start. It wouldn't even be for me to say this, but if I'm around a woman, I don't mind paying for her. I feel like I ought to. That's just me.
I was talking about Groupon at the beginning, but I had a thing when I was dating like that. It made me uncomfortable to have girls pay, and now this is the first like real relationship where someone has been paid, but it took a while. It's weird, like the first. I don't know. I like especially the first date. You feel like you have to pay.
I mean, I'm sure in every relationship, not everybody's fucking Theodore Roosevelt walking around with a bag full of fucking 50s in the beginning. And after you guys settle in and explain to your girlfriend your situation, she understands you. That's where the love and trust begins, when she says, you know what, I don't care if you make $300 a week. I still want to marry you. I want to help you go to school and be a better yourself or become a cop. That's what those early relationships are about. Women who stick it out with you from the beginning. So everybody has that. It's the guy that tells the wife and strings her along that he's a millionaire. Then marries her and he makes this whole thing of how she can't see his books. No, you got to be honest with them. I mean, that's one of the white lies you'll never get out of. It's about telling them that you're something that you're not, in that sense. I was a dentist. Nah, I'm really a dental assistant.
That's a whole nother thing I don't understand, is how someone could do something. It happens all the time. If you find out that a principal gets fired because they fake their resume, or just something weird. Like, I don't understand how people could do that. I mean, I guess before the internet you could get away with it, but not now.
I faked my resume for 15 years, but it wasn't for
high-level jobs.
No. Could I have done it and maybe got away with it? Yeah. Because you got to assume they don't check. You have to assume they don't check.
I've never had
You have to assume maybe they'll call a personal reference.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, when your friend know, or what do you have to tell before you pull like the George Costanza and like tell your friend to be like, yeah, I know how to drive a forklift, or yeah, I know how to, like, did you ever lie like that? Like, yeah, I have this certification, or...
I think I lied once or twice when it came to work. But if you look somebody in the eye and you go, listen, bro, I don't know how to do that, but I'm willing to learn.
Oh, yeah, they love it.
They love it. So that's how I overcame that stuff. I used to drive a fucking high-low, man. That's crazy.
Is that a forklift?
A forklift.
Okay.
And I used to put pallets on trucks, and I would bang into shit. I was fucking terrible. And then I almost got put on. Like, I almost became a high-low guy for a masonry company. I worked with them for a while, and they were like, why don't you... And I thought about it, and then I got another job where you had to shovel snow in a high-low. In Colorado, remember I told you that people would come and I wouldn't come out of the house? I'd be so coked up, I wouldn't leave the house, and then finally they fired me. I got my fucking gym membership yanked.
But you had to sit in a whatever it is, a high-low, and plow the streets?
Plow the streets, and it has like a little... It's called something else, like a snow thing. And it has like the bottom is that of a tank, like a tank, the way the wheels spin around.
Right.
It's like that. It's not even with tires. But I drove all those. I can't believe I did. I couldn't believe myself today. I still did.
No one ever trusted me with that stuff.
I worked hard, so I didn't mind getting behind something and learning how to fucking do it. That's why I always look at all these construction sites as I drive by. I look at the masonry work. I love to look at the scaffolding. I love to look at the masonry work and see how they fucking are putting up the masonry. Every time I see people, laborers putting up scaffolds, I shit my pants. I stop what I'm doing for 10 minutes and I just watch them. It's the most interesting thing. It's the most interesting thing I ever did. I didn't have the balls to go on top of the third floor. Like, once they made me do the third floor, that's when I said, hold on one second, I gotta get something out of my car. Pew!
You couldn't just do the first three floors on all sides?
Oh my God, it was, after the third floor, that's it. I can't put a scaffold up. I can't be up there hanging like a monkey.
Would they give you something to lock into?
Listen, I don't remember. All I know is you hang up the first two pieces, you put those fucking things in, the things that you open up, and then you click onto the sides and you screw those in. Then you put a pipe across, and then you keep doing that. You keep doing the first level, and then somebody gets up there and starts putting down 2x10s or 2x12 boards, 2x12, 2x12 12s. So it's 2x12 inches, 12 feet, and you just put them down. And all of a sudden you climb on top of those, and somebody starts handing you those, and you start putting those just like that. And then you put those crossbars in them, tick, 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 and then you do that all the way down, and then again the 2x12s, and then you fucking, that right there was when I said, no. I could do the first two levels of 2x12s. One time I built the scaffold with a dude that was like fucking 65 when I was 20, okay? And 65, guys, is conservative. Don't ask me what his name was. I don't know nothing. I worked for him for maybe 4 months, and it was one of the best jobs I ever had. He was one of the best bosses in the world because, you know, he would tell me that he needed these things, and I would do them for him, and I would check on him every 10 minutes. He was fucking 60-something, 70 years old. He wouldn't even be anywhere close to the speed that I was. But his workmanship, he had been doing it so long, his people hired him because of his workmanship. He would sit there all day with fucking different machines and do shit. And I learned a lot of those things from him. But the first week of working with him, we had to build a scaffold. And he broke my rib.
What?
Oh yeah, he was a beast, this guy. He was 6'4". He threw that piece of wood up and clipped me in the rib on the way up. He drove me to the hospital. He gave me a $200 raise.
Not a bad deal.
No, but he built a 3-story scaffold from wood. No metal.
What?
Wood.
Oh my God.
You don't know what shit in your fucking pants is. And he was sending me the wood up, climbing up there on a ladder and help me fucking put it down. It was just me and him that day.
Would he reuse it every site? Or would he?
No, there was only one. We only did one job together. We had to remodel the outside of 4 condos and their balconies. That was it. And it took us 40 months. And it was tongue and groove wood, like a cider that we had to put in, and it was tongue and groove, but he added some stuff to it, and that's what made. And I took the job like in August, and we went all the way to Christmas Eve. And he gave me a bonus and everything. He was a good dude. When I robbed a jewelry store, I used that apartment as my cover. When I tried to rob this jewelry store in fucking Snowman's Village, I used those apartment buildings is where I had my tools and the change of clothing and all that stuff. I had a broom outside so I could sweep all 4 fucking things. It was amazing. That's what I used. And I went in there in chains and then walked out the front door. And if the cops stopped me and asked me what was I doing there, I went up there to plug because it was true. I used to have to go up there on Sunday nights and plug the fucking,
heater?
There was something I had to plug in. Oh, the generator. I had to plug the generator in on Sunday nights for it to charge up for Monday morning.
Fuck.
That's what it was. So I was going to use that as my excuse. I had to go up there and charge the fucking generator. Let me give some shout-outs here. I didn't give some shout-outs. We'll wrap this motherfucker up. I don't even know Yeah, that's what I used, that fucking apartment. I just remembered that. Jesus Christ. Minutes with Markin. Hands Down Sports. Pablo Castro. Trapper Welton. LJ. Meg 715. Locomotive. And Meet the DeCourts. Like I told you, motherfucker, in the beginning, don't forget I'll be at Flappers Thursday night, 7:30, working out with Uncle Joey's series. This weekend it's at Flappers. And the next Thursday, I'm at fucking the Brea Improv. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, shit, where this whole movement started on Wednesday nights. The second Wednesday of the month, we used to do Dirty Night, hosted by Joey Diaz at the Brea Improv. And that's how this whole fucking movement started. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, bitches.
It's either you or the priest was there?
We did the Year of the Priest there. That's right. Yeah. A lot of history at Brea Improv. So if you're not doing anything next weekend, the 8th through the 10th, I think, come on down, bitches.
Yeah, I'll be there eating stars. It'll be fun time.
Yeah, you'll be Captain fucking Stars. Yeah. I forgot all about that fucking apartment. I've had some interesting jobs, man. I was 19 when I had that job, and we did everything by hand.
Everything?
And I didn't know dick. I would just hand them the wood. I would get lunch. I would sweep. I'd pick up the fucking wood parts at the end of the day. I'd empty the trash.
And was it his business, or was
it was his business? And he worked by himself. And I had just come from quitting a job. And I was walking, and he pulled over. Hey, man, I'm looking for a helper with construction. You know anybody? I go, what kind of construction? He told me basic carpentry. We're building a scaffold. I'll start you at this. I forgot. It was on a good salary. I go, yeah. He goes, be there tomorrow. I'll try you out for 2 days.
Fuck.
After the 2 days, he told me to stick around. He told me to buy tools. What tools to buy.
I know you've talked about how sometimes it would freak you out to think about doing something till you were 65. Was there 1 or 2 of them that you think you could have done?
I was hoping that I would have taken to one form of construction. I like the construction lifestyle if it's done correctly and what I wanted to do with it. Like at first I wanted to be a mason. I wanted to work for somebody for 6 or 7 years who was going to teach me how to be a fucking mason. Teach me how to make the cement, teach me how to lay the brick, teach me how to lay commercial brick. Just teach me everything to know
about masonry.
I'd work 60 hours and let you pay me for 40. I'd be one of those guys. That's my loyalty for you to teach me. So once my job is done as a hod carrier, I get off my fucking job and I get on the line, I lay brick with you and help you out. You know, that was always my fucking dream, you know. And then after 8 years, you learn the shit you want to do, which is fireplaces and, you know, you want to take little chances at other different places, little walks, and you just want to be busy doing that stuff. I could have done that in a different life, I think. And you have to sell. See, that's the beauty of it, that I could have sold. I don't mind knocking on somebody's door and screaming, ma'am, my name is fucking, Joey Diaz, and I own a construction company, and I saw these stairs aren't good here. I think I can write you an estimate for maybe $100. That's 2 days' work. You know, you could put those together, two, 3 of those a week, because even if you do that for $100 and you take a garbage out, she's gonna go, you know, my husband died. I need for you to do the steps in the back. Can you do it for $600? And now you have work. And now guess what? She tells her friend at bingo that you did it, and that's how you become a businessman.
Do you think there's a negative, like people look down on people who do jobs like that?
Who do jobs like what?
Construction, cement,
Listen, man, if
plumbers.
anybody looks down on anybody for working as an American or a legit person, they should be shot and fucking hung. When I think of work people, when I go to McDonald's, all right, with Mercy,
Right.
there's a Spanish woman who's always there with a huge diamond ring around her finger. She's attractive. You know, you could tell she's been at McDonald's for a few years, you know what I'm saying? I could look at her in a fucked up way, or anybody in that kitchen. But what type of person would I be? I gotta look at them as a type of person. They're fucking working. They're working. Even if they're ex-convicts, they're working. They're keeping it together. They're working at McDonald's. They didn't have that much fucking pride. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat pride. You cannot eat pride. And not every American. No. You are right. People do look down on McDonald's jobs because they're always hiring, aren't they?
Yeah, movie theater. There's a guy who I love. He's one of my best friends. He has a master's degree, but he stayed at the movie theater, and he's the general manager of one of the biggest theater in the state. So he's making good money now. But I can't. We've talked about how he had issues with not pursuing his thing, but he loved the theater and he chose to make it a career.
Of staying at the movie theater.
Yeah. And now he's a GM. He's probably making 6 figures.
Listen, you go to college, and while you're at college, you get a job. And the pieces come together. And all of a sudden you get out of college, and you're like, what am I going to look for a job for? I already got a job. I've been here for 5 years.
Yeah.
I know everything. They give me a promotion to management, and I keep the job here for a few years until I see what I really want to fucking do. There's nothing wrong with that. Listen, fucking nothing wrong with working. Especially when you have all the logistics to work. When you don't have a felony and all that shit. If you could work, man, and keep making money and keep getting incentives, you know, selling shit or whatever the fuck it is that you do. I never looked down on anybody because I did some creepy shit when I was working. I didn't mind doing it. I never let that shit bother me. I didn't tell everybody I was doing it as a job. Do you know what I'm saying? I never, there was a lot of jobs I did I wasn't too proud of. I can't think of right now, but you do them for a week or two to get you by, and that's it.
I would do them for a while. Like I remember having to sweep out. I remember one July 4th having to sweep out a storeroom at a CVS. But I miss those kind of jobs too, to be honest with you.
It's no pressure job. You go in there, you get a salary, you know what you're gonna walk with. For you, a guy like you go to 3 or 4 movies a week, don't you?
Oh my God!
Yeah, you go to 3 or 4 movies.
I would go every day.
Every fucking day, you go see a movie. So, for a guy like you think you're getting 200 a week just in the movies and the Raisinets? Just in the movie and the Raisinets, you think you're getting a fucking bargain?
Well, yeah. I mean, if I could have somehow, I think that's the job. If I could have somehow stayed in being a teenager, but could live on what I was making at a movie theater, it was the most fun I ever had. And those people are just some of my best friends.
I had a lot of fun jobs that were fun, but those jobs that are usually fun, you pay your rent, you pay your car payment,
yeah,
and you struggle the rest of the month. That's the problem with fun jobs. And one day you come to that realization. You go, Jesus Christ, my uncle just offered me a job doing this for fucking $15 an hour, but I got a job that I get $8.50 an hour, and it's so much fucking fun. And that's what happens. And after 2 or 3 years, if I want to have fun, I got a skateboard and put a blindfold on and go downhill or something like that. I don't fucking know.
I can't imagine raising a kid on that salary. Because there's people who did. There's this one, I always think of her. She had 4 kids.
So there's people who, first off, there's people who make it happen. Those are the people I give my heart to. There's people that make it happen. And if you leave this facility right now and you make a right, if you go maybe 40 yards, there's a daycare. There's an illegal Mexican daycare in the building over there.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. If you pull out of here every night, you'll see that there's a car in the middle of the block always double parked. There's a reason for that, because somebody's picking up their kids. It could be at 2 in the morning. It could be at 4 in the morning. There were plenty of nights when I was driving down here at midnight and I'd see 2 parents running out with a kid, put them in the same car in the back seat, like a mom and a dad picking. They just got off of work, you know.
Okay. Jesus.
These are people who have fucking 2.5 jobs apiece. And this, they have to pay. The daycare is like one lady with 6 kids. She takes them around the corner and just walks around the corner all day. They hold their hands are the cutest thing. She always waved. She's really nice to the kids. If I was in a pinch, I'd have to take Mercy over there. You know, what can she call? I mean, she has to, I think she charges you and the kids bring their own food. It's not scholastically approved. They're not going to be fucking singing songs, learning about the Bible, or, you know, doing a lot of arts and crafts. But somebody's watching your kid.
There's a lot of families who do like the one parent works night shift, one parent works day shift. That I can't imagine doing that.
You know, I'm very fortunate. You know, Terry and I struggled for a lot of years, and now that we have the baby, you know, everything's okay, and I'm very fortunate for that. That when I tell Terry, I think every day, I go, could you imagine right now I'd have to be strapping her in the car to take her to school, and you'd be on the 101 headed fucking south at 7:30 in the morning. I'd have to pick her up at 5, bring her home, start cooking for you to come in the door at 6:15, to take her, put her in the bath, read her a story, eat, go to bed, to do it over again for the next 4 days. And then once a month, you'd have to fucking, or twice a month, you'd have to, Thursday and Friday, she's got to pick the kid up at 5:30 or 6 because I would be on the road.
Fuck. Yeah, what if there were more than one?
And if there's a traffic jam, my daughter gets stuck at fucking daycare at 6. You know, it would have been, no, it would have been a struggle. So that's why every morning I get up and I'm thankful as fuck that at this time, like I tell Terry, listen, in a year, you never know. In a year, this whole thing might be over, and fucking you could run the house. You could go back to work, and I'll do what you got to do here. I'll walk her to school in the morning, get her lunch ready, and get the spaghetti going at night, whatever the fuck it is, if that's what it came down to.
Do you have to be very realistic? Because you've gone from being a rich, spoiled kid to homeless, and then back. Like, that's... I've always been very lucky. My parents made a lot less than they used to for a while, and we had issues, but I never was broke or homeless or had to move or...
Listen, I was hand to mouth from 1981 to 2009.
What do you mean hand to mouth? Like
Weekly. The longest yard bailed me out for a while. That just called the alligators off. That didn't do dick. All right, all those projects I did on TV all those years, that just covered the bases, the addiction, some of the child support, shoes, you know, the daily necessities. There was no cutting off the top. There was no paying off the VIG, is what I'm trying to say to you.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay, there was no paying off the VIG. The note kept ticking. And I kept running that motherfucker up, knowing that eventually something was going to give. I stopped doing blow in 2007. That immediately freed up $2,000 or $3,000 a month. Immediately freed up.
You thought you were rich.
So all those years, you know, all those gigs that I would go home, I would go out at night and pick up $200, which is a lot of money to some people. I'd pick up $200.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I would do 4 gigs and pick up $200. You know, 75 here, 50 here, 50 here. I'd go out on those nights, and I'd come home broke because I bought weed, coke, and filled up the gas tank. But now there was no more coke. That was $60 I was saving. So once I got off the drugs, I started profiting just getting off the drugs. Just getting off drugs and staying where I was doing comedy and fucking around, that was it.
And you were making money.
Yeah, I was putting away money. Not a lot of money. I didn't have to call my wife every day and tell her to put $20 on my books. Till 2008, we both lived off one account. And I would call her every day by lunchtime and tell her what to put on my books for the day. And she would go, "Are you fucking, how can I put 40 on your books if we only have 66? Like, there were those type of days. All right, then give me a 20. I'll figure it out. And I'd put together 20 or 30 on my own. That lasted for years, brother. Then in 2009, with the fucking no drugs for 2 years and paying off bills, we saw some daylight. I booked a couple commercials that were lucrative. Those commercials really bailed me out. That's why I always say, if you live in LA, go out for commercials. Because at that time in my life, those commercials were like hitting the fucking lottery for me.
I can't.
And that
I like
was
to
it.
think I'm a hard worker, but I don't think if I had $66 left, I would be here. I just don't think it would happen.
Please, $66 till Friday.
Oh.
And I had a gig on Wednesday.
I had like 150
and I had a gig on
once.
Thursday. And I
Nice.
had to fucking pick up a check at the Comedy Store for $90 on Friday. And my wife would get paid every 2 weeks.
Oh, my God.
And there was nice. She was a waitress, and she'd come home. We'd have $44 for the day. And we needed to buy 2 packs of cigarettes apiece and eat and feed the cat Finny.
And oh my God. And you would see this, and still, when you got the money for the gigs, would be like, yeah, coke, weed.
And half of it went to my wife. As long as I had coke and weed, I didn't need money in my pocket. I could always get a free drink at the fucking Comedy Store. As long as I had coke and weed, everything else fell into place.
That's like a motivational poster.
It's a true fucking story. Let's wrap this motherfucker up here. Don't forget, Thursday night I'm at Flappers, and then the following week, the 6th through the 10th, I'm at the Brea Improv. We ain't fucking around. Taking it back old school. Listen, man, I know a lot of you motherfuckers are at home. You're sitting there, you're listening to the podcast, you're thinking about the summer and what you want to do or whatever. Lyft is a ride-sharing company that believes in treating its people better. Lyft believes that being a ride-sharing driver should be fun. If you're having a good time, so are your passengers, correct? So if you're choosing a ride-sharing company to drive for, go with the company that treats you better. Lyft. Only Lyft offers in-app tipping. When you drive for Lyft, you tip 100% of the tips. Drivers have been paid over $150 million in tips since the feature was introduced. Express Pay lets the drivers get paid almost instantly instead of waiting for weeks. Lyft has even taken the guesswork out of pickups. The new AMP device uses color coding to help passengers find their drivers. You can earn hundreds of dollars a week. Listen to me. Hundreds of dollars a week plus tips. You want to make more money? You drive more. It's never been that easier. So to give yourself a raise. It's that simple. You know what? I need to make a lot of money. Then you know what? Start drinking coffee and get out there. It's a simple formula. Happy drivers mean happy passengers. Maybe that's why 9 out of 10 Lyft rides get a perfect 5-star rating. Your experiences with Lyft have been marvelous. My experiences with Lyft have been marvelous. So they do something.
It's just a much friendlier experience. They're nice. The cars are always clean. They're friendly people, and then when you have choice, that's what you look for.
So join the ride-sharing company that believes in treating its people better. Go to Lyft.com right now /Joey, and I'm going to get you a $500 new driver bonus. Again, if you go to Lyft.com /Joey today, I'm going to get you a $500 new driver bonus. That's Lyft.com /Joey. Limited time only. Terms apply. But let me tell you something. If you're just sitting there and you got a nice car, it's like the man said in the Pope of Greenwich Village. Why you got a fancy suit for, Charlie? You got no job to wear it to. Go to Lyft.com /Joey. Number 2, when I called you yesterday, what did you get from Blue Apron?
Oh, I got a great box this week. We made spicy chicken tenders with mashed potatoes and green beans.
Okay.
This on Friday night. It was delicious. I have a spicy Korean. I have spicy Korean chicken with mushrooms and roasted potatoes still at the house, and one more. but it's been my dad made the spicy Korean one yesterday. He said it was delicious. They've been on a roll recently with like really delicious recipes.
I see them. I mean, look at the ones for this month, Blue Apron. You got warm smoked salmon trout, an asparagus salad with fingerling potatoes and garlic croutons. You got spiced zucchini enchiladas with creamy lime and tomato rice. But listen, not all ingredients are created equal. Fresh, high-quality ingredients make a real difference. So it's important to know where your food comes from. Okay? Like Lee said, he got a great box sent to him this weekend. It tasted great. It was easy to cook. He has the recipe. For less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasoned recipes along with proportioned ingredients to make your delicious home-cooked meal. Choose from a variety of new recipes each week, or let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. Recipes are not repeated within a year, so you'll never, ever, ever get bored. Customize your recipes each week based on your preferences. Blue Apron has several delivery options, so you can choose what fits your needs. And there's no weekly commitment, so you only get the deliveries that you want when you want them. Each meal comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card, proportioned ingredients, and can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. Again, 40 minutes or less. Blue Apron's freshness guarantee promises that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. This week's menu, again, elote-style vegetable tostadas with summer squash, poblano peppers, and cilantro rice, or peach honey glazed chicken with mashed sweet potatoes, collard greens, and Thai basil. All right? What are we going to do? I'm going to get you 3 free meals plus free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Joey. Again, I'm going to get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping when you go to blueapron.com/Joey. You'll love how it feels. You'll love how it tastes. And you don't know how great you'll feel to create your home cooked meals with the people you love around you with Blue Apron. So don't wait. Go to blueapron.com/Joey. I'm going to give you the first 3 meals free with free shipping. Blue Apron. It's a better way to cook. I want to thank my man Lee Syatt, but most importantly, I want to wish all you motherfuckers a happy Memorial Day. Thank you for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you cocksuckers Wednesday night. Stay black.